What's so special at WagerTalk that only happens twice per year? It's the WagerTalk $199 30-day all-access special. Why is this $199 special even bigger? This $199 special starts Sunday, August 15th throughout Monday, September 13th. But by signing up now, you'll receive every play through Sunday, August 15th as a free bonus. Does this $199 package include football? Yes, of course it does. As with every all-access package, you receive every play that your favorite capper releases. That includes the NFL preseason, college football through week 2, NFL week 1, MLB action, plus any CFL, KBO, soccer, UFC, or golf that your favorite handicapper releases. Every play, every sport, all for 30 days and all for just $199. If you have never tried a 30-day all-access package at under $7 per day, including football, what are you waiting for?
Look at that. Looking straight at the screen. Ready to go. I'm Lawrence Presman. He's Teddy Covers. You're watching Wager Talk Today. Yeah, I did that for you, Teddy. Let's do it to music. August 18th. Great show ahead of us. 3 guests. We're not going to do a NFL AFC East preview today. We're going to do it tomorrow. We got Andy Lang joining us. 3 NFL prop bets. And man, when Andy Lang talks prop bets, you better have a pen and paper ready. Carmine Bianco, he's going to take apart 2 soccer games. I hear there's a rumble in Brighton tonight. Anyone can tell me who sings that song. He's going to do the Brighton-Watford game, Leeds United and Everton. And Teddy Art DiCesare at the bottom of the hour. How are you, buddy? I lost my play last night. I had the Astros -1.5. That was, well, a bad bet. How did you do, buddy? What happened?
I split. Second night in a row that I split out. No muss, no fuss, no harm, no foul. Kiss your sister on a push evening. So it was a little bit frustrating because I really thought I was going to go 2-0. I had a right side winner with Tampa on the run line. And then I had the Tigers. And the whole game, it's 2-2, 2-2. And Cabrera keeps on coming up in these high leverage situations. I'm like, this is 500th. It's coming. Didn't come. And the bullpen melted down in the 9th. That was that. So it was a frustrating split, but a split nonetheless. And we come back today with a fresh set of games.
Yeah, I got one play up in baseball tonight for my clients. Are you locked and loaded?
I am. I pretty much almost every day I'm have at least for the daily sports, I'll have it up by 9 a.m. Before we come on air. So whether it's baseball, basketball, I like to have the place up early. That gives the clients the best chance, in my opinion, to A, get the best number, and B, get involved with the play. So, we try to have everything up before we go on air for the daily sports.
Teddy, lots of baseball games last night. Any takeaways? What did you learn in the wonderful world of sports betting?
So I got to say, I realized something that I liked about sports last night that I don't know that I realized. It kind of hit me. I've been watching sports since I could walk, obviously. Most of you have as well. But White Sox A's last night, Chris Bassett gets clobbered by a line drive. There's blood all over his face. There's laying on the field. It's a serious situation. The team gathers around the mound. The game gets delayed. But then the game goes on. Same thing happens when a guy gets carted off on a stretcher in a football field or a basketball court. The game goes on. They man up and they play. Canceling the game isn't going to help the injured player. Guys whose heads aren't into it, okay, your guy just got clocked. Doesn't matter. The game goes on, and I like that. You got to man up, Prez. How about you?
Jesus.
What did you learn last night?
It's that you had no topics to discuss for today, huh? I mean,
what are you talking about? I'm talking about
Prez,
something
you know
that
what
I
noticed
last night.
Prez, I realized that when people get injured at sporting events, the game goes on. Oh, wow. That's awesome. Who knew? Anyway, I'm bringing Andy Lang in for my what did I learn? Andy, come in. I got to talk to you.
I get to follow here for a minute if you're going to rip me.
Go ahead.
The point is that in this world where like everything is, you can't touch this, you can't do that, you can't. the fact that someone gets clocked. I'm not talking about someone gets injured. I'm talking about that he got clocked. You didn't know if he was going to live or die on the field last night, and when you get hit by a line drive, it's real. All right. So noticing that after a serious injury, the sporting event, we all just take a breath, take a minute, and all right, get back at it. I thought that's cool. I think it's a good thing. So I don't know. It stood out to me last night. I'm sorry it didn't stand out to you, Prez, but that's because I'm watching sports every night. I got to come up with something.
Yeah, well, hey, okay, Teddy, awesome take, best take ever. Yeah, so I bring in Andy Lang in for my What Did I Learn segment because I have more learning to do. And Andy, you're going to help me. I am deep into the Formula One Drive to Survive series, and it is must-watch television. The amount of drama that goes on in Formula One is at a level that drama doesn't even know about. These racers just despise each other. But Andy, here's what I want to know from you, because I'm right into it. I hated car racing. I have a whole new appreciation for Formula One. There are 20 seats in Formula One. This is the pinnacle drivers on the planet. Has to be probably the hardest job you can get. Yeah, Andy, I'm not arguing with you about NASCAR and this, that, and the other. Whoever gets paid the most is at the top. Otherwise, they would then go to the top. So if some other place, whatever, I don't care. Here's what I want to know from you. How do fans cheer for Formula One? That's what I want to know. Like, do the Australians cheer for Daniel Ricciardo? Do the Spanish people cheer for Alonso? Like, is it a country to driver thing? Is it a country to car thing? Do you like the color red, so you cheer for Ferrari? What happens when teams change racers? Like, I don't understand the fans' affinity, like how they invest themselves. Could you help me with that?
Sure. There are 3 reasons why you cheer for a particular driver. You're a fan of the manufacturer, so you have your Ferrari fans that are Ferrari forever. You have your Mercedes fans, Mercedes or die. And then you have your Red Bull fans and your McLarens, and it goes down from there. Then you have your nationalities. So, you're going to have everyone that's, from the country of Lewis Hamilton, they love him. Everyone that's from the country that Daniel Ricciardo is from, they love him. And Teddy, you know this as well as I do. Then you have the faction of fans who are rooting for the driver that you bet on that particular race. So those are the 3 groups of drivers that you're rooting for. And yes, Prez, they are incredibly talented drivers. Most of them are the best in the world, but never forget the power of having a rich father. And that is how some of these guys get their seats in Formula One.
Lance Stroll. I know
one guy.
My stuff. Okay, one guy in the episode.
Mazepin is the worst driver that Formula One has ever put out there, and his dad is a Russian oil oligarch that owns the entire team. He finishes a minute behind the entire field. He's so bad. There is no way this guy got there on his own validity and his own racing reputation. So money talks.
So wait a minute. I haven't seen this guy in the series yet, but I'm only in season 2.
Yeah, it's because he's way out of the camera. He's nowhere near the rest of the cars. That's why you've never seen him. He's terrible. He's a moving chicane.
Okay, well, I am floored. Teddy, I know you don't have a lot of time, but if you do find some time in your near future, this is must-watch television. I mean, I cannot. I just it's unbelievable. And the other thing, Andy, that really fascinates me is they're cheering at, like, people are excited even if they don't win. We came 8th, yeah. Like,
to some teams, that's a big victory. That's a big finish. This is not like any other sport. Sometimes 6th is a fantastic finish for a team.
Okay, let's get into it, brother. You are the prop master. Before we take apart the show, the games, talk to me about the Prop It Up show. Is it happening? When's it start? What's going on with it for this coming football season?
Yeah, we're going to start September 3rd. That's going to be our first NFL show. We're going to go over a lot of our futures. We're going to go over some thoughts based on the preseason, if any injuries come up, starting lineups, depth charts, things of that nature. And then the week after that, hey, we're neck deep into football season, and we will be there every single week for all of NFL season, going over all the NFL props week to week. But September 3rd should be kind of more of a season preview. Myself, Andrew McGinnis,
Nice.
Matt Josephs, bring the band is back. So look for us September 3rd.
Excellent stuff. Okay, well, let's do some preview props. Josh Jacobs, a rushing and receiving prop. What do you got for us?
I like taking unders, especially when we get over this 1,000-yard mark, and I'm going to take him under 1,250.5 rushing and receiving yards combined. This Raiders offensive line, a lot of questions coming into the season. 2020, they were absolutely decimated by injuries. 3 of their starters from last year have moved on, so they're looking at several young guys, including their first-round pick, who was expected to be a second-round pick. He's going to be a starter, and they're going to try and mesh with Richie Incognito and Colton Miller, who most of you don't know. Miller's a good pass protector, but he's terrible at rush blocking. Not sold on their offensive line. Pro Football Focus ranks them 26th worst as far as run blocking offensive lines coming into the season. Last year, Jacobs played in 15 games, rushed for 1,065 yards. He only caught 33 passes. They did not have a very good depth chart. They only had Devontae Booker and Jalen Richard in the backfield, so they bring in Kenyon Drake. Drake is not fantastic. I think he can do a lot more things than Devontae Booker, and they still have Jalen Richard, who they will use on third downs. Jacobs does not catch a lot of passes. That's not his repertoire. And their defense is horrible. They are going to be bottom of the barrel, which means there may not be too many games where they can run the ball a ton. And right out of the gate, they face some tough defensive to start the season. 5 out of their first 6 opponents are Baltimore, Pittsburgh, Chicago, Denver, and Philadelphia. These are all defensive who are projected to have great defensive lines against the run. Jacobs played 13 games in 2019, 15 games in 2021. He can get a little nicked up. I'm not predicting an injury, but he's been pretty durable. This is his 3rd year, and he is the workhorse. Any type of injury is going to make this number sail way under the total.
Sure. Any injury, if Jacobs misses a couple of games, although he played 13 games 2009 and went over this total, played only 15 games last year and went over this total. But the question I want to ask you is about the Raiders' offensive line. Now, everybody and their brother is like, what are they doing? What's Vegas doing? Trading off all these guys. Clearly, Gruden and company have a plan. Do you think that plan, there's hope for the Raiders and the offensive line, or is this just going to be a bad offensive line this year? And we should be betting against the Raiders or betting them under the total, or given their defense, don't even know we want to play them under. Talk about the offensive line that has gone through enormous changes, but has been thoroughly devalued in the betting marketplace as a result.
Well, not only are you looking at an offensive line that is completely different from last year, but they don't have any depth. So this is an offensive line that is susceptible to major injury concerns. If you get some guys that are missing 3, 4, 5, 6 games, they just don't have a lot of backups that can step in and do a good job. Even if their offensive line does stay healthy, they're going to be behind the 8 ball to start off the year with rookies and young guys. And they're depending on these young guys to have developed over the last year. It's a tall task. Gruden, I watch the Raiders a lot. They're one of my favorite childhood teams. I just don't trust them to have a detailed plan with offensive line. The lack of depth, the lack of experience leads me to believe this could be a really rough start for the year for the Raiders. I think this 1,250 yards is a lot to ask of Jacobs.
Andy Lang joining us, everybody. WagerTalk.com. Andy is incredible at many different sports, including football, prop bets, NASCAR, golf, an absolute golf machine. By the way, speaking of golf, shout out to Nick Borman. Nick, by the way, is a scratch golfer, but more importantly, he had a child yesterday. It's up on Twitter. Congratulations, Nick. We could not be happier for you. I was actually doing a show with Nick and Carm, and his wife did not know the show was going on, walked into the room and says, Nick, I'm ovulating. I'm ready. Let's go. Literally live on air. On air. It was unbelievable. Anyway, Andy Lang, Justin Herbert, I like to call him that. You got a prop bet for us on his passing touchdowns. Fill us in, bro.
At least she said ovulating. There are a lot more other words she could have said that would have been way worse. But yes, I like it. We'll go with Justin Herbert over. I love this. I love this number, over 28.5 passing touchdowns. So in a 15-start rookie season, Justin Herbert had 31 passing touchdowns. This is with no practice. Remember, his first start was because the team doctor stabbed Tyrod Taylor in the lung with a shot. That's the only reason why he started that first game. So he's going to have a year of experience and an extra scheduled game added in. Chargers offense looks to be loaded with really good position players, explosive receiving options, Keenan Allen, Mike Williams. They did lose Hunter Henry, but they added Jared Cook. I think that should mitigate most of that. Talented receiving running back Austin Eckler will be back. He was injured, cost him 6 regular season games. He's good for catching touchdowns as well. And along with the Raiders, the Chargers are going to rework their offensive line. And 4/5 of the line features new starters. And the marks on this offensive line are much better than a team like the Raiders. They look to be one of the more improved offensive lines because it couldn't get much worse last year. They have a lot of potential track meets on their schedule. They have 2 games against Kansas City, and he played really good against these teams that like to air it out. He had 8 games of 40-plus pass attempts and 6 games with 3 or more passing touchdowns, so I don't worry about him to go toe-to-toe with some of these higher-scoring teams. I like to play some of these unders in season futures. When it comes to season-long player props, new offensive line, receiving options, a lot of talent, and a year under his belt. I love this total, 28.5 passing touchdowns on the over.
So last year, the Chargers went through, I think, a 9-game span where they allowed 30 plus, or they gave up 30, 29, 38, whatever, 30 plus, and then one game they gave like 29. But literally over like 9 games, and one game they gave up 27 as well. But the defense got gashed for half the season, riddled with injuries. And as a result, the Chargers played a bunch of shootouts, and Herbert put up a bunch of big numbers. This year, the defense is projected to be not just better, much better. It really has the look of a quality defense. Does that concern you, betting Herbert over, when you extrapolate out a better defense equals fewer shootouts and probably fewer passing touchdowns? What's your take on that?
Well, an improved defense can only do so much against a team like Kansas City, so I'm not totally sure that those aren't going to be track meets. And the other thing, this running game for San Diego, this is not a ground and pound. Austin Eckler is not a 4 yards in a cloud of dust type of runner. This is a guy who likes to get to the outside. They use the passing game. Josh Kelly's behind him, but he's not a guy that's going to be eating up a lot of carries. Running out the clock and going for 35 rushes just isn't really what they're looking for. The strength of their offense is Herbert and throwing and getting Keenan Allen, Mike Williams open, Austin Eckler. So I do think that these games could be a little bit lower scoring. I just love what I've seen from Herbert. It's obviously a passing league now. I'm going to trust him to go over with this extra year under his belt.
Yeah, and here's a crazy thought, Andy. Great defense or a much improved defense means more offense on the field. Kareem Hunt, you got a prop bet for him, and I'm fascinated to hear about it, especially with Chubb in the backfield. So what are we doing with Mr. Hunt?
Well, I had my 2 props I wanted to talk, and then I watched yesterday's show, so I decided I needed to do a rushing prop in this division. So I decided to go with Kareem Hunt over 940.5 rushing and receiving yards. I just think Kareem Hunt is just so underrated in the props world. Seeing you get again with this total, this is about as high of a number as it gets for me to take an over, but I'm going to do it. This was my favorite before the season started prop because I just thought this backfield was much more of a split than people thought. We're seeing this more and more in the NFL where it's not just one guy, it's two guys. And when you have a guy that's talented as Kareem Hunt, they're going to give him the ball. So last year, Hunt rushed for just less than 200 yards than Nick Chubb. He caught over 150 yards more than Nick Chubb, and he ended up with 1,145 total yards in 2020. Cleveland had a good offensive line, and by all accounts, it looks like they've even improved in it. This is a top-tier elite offensive line who loves to run the ball. Chubb only played 12 games last year, so if Chubb gets nicked up at all, Kareem Hunt is going to have a few games where he's going to be the lead back, and he should be able to accumulate a lot of yards. And he averaged 71.3 yards from scrimmage in each game. So even if I take away 3 games from Hunt's total games played, let's say he gets an injury and he's out 3, he only needs to average 67.8 yards from scrimmage per game to get over this total. He was at 71.3 last year. I like this Cleveland rushing game, and I'm going to take Kareem Hunt over 940.5 yards rushing and receiving.
Man, just so well thought out. Excellent stuff, Andy Lang. Do you have anything to promote?
I lost my 5% play when Cincinnati decided to not be able to hit against the Cubs, and their game starts about 10 minutes. This is a classic case where Andy bets on the Reds one night and they do terrible, and then they come back at 12:30 the next day to hang 13 runs on the Cubs. So I will say this is going to be one of those games I predict where I'm going to be sitting there going, now Cincinnati decides to score some runs. Now they decide. Yeah. Thank you very much. So that might be a fun little play. Other than that, we got an MLB play of the day up, and we got golf package coming up. Other than that, that's all I got. Thanks, guys.
Awesome stuff, Andy Lang, everybody. P-Dog781, thanks for the tip. He tipped us, Teddy, for my sandwich. Andy, get the hell out of here, guys. We're going to be right back. Teddy's big game breakdown. Carmine Bianco, Art DiCesare, and the daily presidential address. I can't get that right yet. 20 seconds.
The NFL 2021 season kicks off on Thursday, August 5th. And while some say I won't bet the preseason, but many NFL handicapping experts say there's more value betting the preseason than any other sport. This is one of the only times in sports betting that you can have a team and a coach trying to win versus a team and a coach that doesn't care. The NFL preseason is $249. You can save $70 by purchasing this package by kickoff of the Hall of Fame game August 5th. The entire NFL preseason for just $179. Yes, football is back.
It is time for today's big game breakdown. Let's talk about the Oakland A's and the Chicago White Sox. Looking at the WagerTalk live odds screen right now, I'm seeing the White Sox in the minus 175, minus 180 range. At most books, there's a fair bit of variance here. The total sitting at 8.5. Before we get into the game, I do want to let you know about what's going on today over at WagerTalk and SportsMemo.com. The baseball still... It's been consistent all summer, just shy of 60% for the last 3 months. We are locked and loaded with a pair of winners, including one early start action for today. You can get those plays right now over at WagerTalk and or SportsMemo.com. So we have an Oakland A's team that's been playing great ball. They started the road trip, they had a sweep at Cleveland, then they lost 2 out of 3 to the Rangers, and now they've lost the first 2 here. So all of a sudden, 3 straight losses for the last 5 games. This is a team that only has 1 losing streak longer than 3 games since the first week of the season. One time they lost 4 in a row all year. So Oakland's been pretty good at bouncing back. And of course, it's been yesterday's game was a complete no-show after Bassett got knocked out of the game. I expect him to come with something today. I really do. Cole Irvin doesn't have ridiculous numbers. The advanced metrics market don't like him that much. But he's been solid. Yeah, right. A 3.27 his last 7 starts. He's pitched fairly well. And I'm concerned about Lance Lynn. Lance Lynn, look, the guy's 6'5", 280. He's not a guy that wears down in the summer necessarily, but he's put up monster pitch counts, really, over the course of the last month, heavy pitch count after heavy pitch count after heavy pitch count, 3 consecutive no decisions, did not throw well last time out against the Yankees. And remember when the White Sox were just auto bet? Every time they face a lefty, auto bet, Chicago. Paid great dividends all last year and early this year. Not paying dividends of late. In fact, the White Sox have been losing money for their backers against Southpaws for the last couple of months. I think they'll lose money for their backers today. Oakland, a live dog in Chicago. And there's your big game breakdown. Back to you, Mr. Prez.
Excellent stuff. Carmine Bianco joining us talking soccer. Carm, we love having you on, man. And even in the middle, in the heart of NFL and college football, against some people's best wishes, we're still going to sneak some soccer talk in here or there. Welcome to WagerTalk Today, bro. And nice. Let's start right off the bat with what you did last week. You called Chelsea 3-0 plus, I can't remember, but you were right. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Plus 650 on that game, Chelsea to win 3-0. We did Chelsea minus 1.5 and Chelsea to win 3-0 on the show. So we're going to give it another go with a couple of games today. And I always chat with the guys in your live chat here. It's pretty funny. Some of them don't like soccer, but you guys are old enough to remember Ron Popeil, right? What was Ron's thing and those late cooking shows? Set it and forget it. Do the same thing with soccer. Bet it and forget it. Come back later and see some money in your account. That's all you need to do.
Carmine Bianco, did you work on that one for a while?
No. I was watching TV late last night, and there was a Ron Popeil infomercial that they were showing on something else or whatever. So that's how I came up with that one.
Carm, listen, we got 2 games we're going to talk about. I do want to give you some heads up in case you didn't know. If there is an injury in sports, the game does actually go on. Game 1, Brighton, minus 130 against Watford, plus 480, a draw at plus 245. Both teams picked up wins last weekend. I actually watched some of the Watford game. Surprise win 3-2 over Aston Villa. Is Watford going on a roll?
No, two of the newly promoted teams got wins last weekend. Brentford over Arsenal as well too. They don't normally do well at the beginning of the season, but there's a lot of overreaction to week 1 in the lines. But I think 2 games in specific, and they're the ones we're going to talk about. Brighton got the win yet last weekend on the road, winning 2-1. It's a game in which they held most of the metric numbers at the end of the game, almost 2/3 of possession, 1.79 to 1.60 were the expected goals in that game. They're the type of team that is just going to outwork you for 90 minutes or try to do that. They're back home. Watford got a win and scored 3 goals against an Aston Villa team, obviously, that are need to find their new identity. Jack Grealish went to Man City, transferred over for $100 million fee, which is the biggest for an English player. And they just didn't look right in that game. Watford scored 3 goals on only 0.98 goal expectancy. They really outperformed themselves. They now go on the road. They're going to face a team that just outworks you for 90 minutes. The line here is minus 130. It's a short line. The one caveat is last year Brighton had the most draws at home in the Premier League with 9. So they just grind out points, whether it's wins or draws at home. But minus 130 is such a short line. Probably should be about 155, 160. So give me Brighton here in this one.
And you can use coupon code CL50 to get 50% off Carmine Bianco's Thursday 5% soccer play. Again, coupon code CL50 at checkout. Carm, let's talk about the second game that you're going to break down on today's show. And there's plus prices for everyone here. Leeds United plus 140, the draw plus 255, Everton plus 208. Everton 3-1 winners last weekend, while Leeds embarrassed of 5-1 by Manchester United at the Old Trafford. But they're slim favorites here, and something tells me you think that's justified. Slim favorites, even at the plus price, given the three-way betting. Give us your thoughts. Leeds United versus Everton.
Yeah, this is another one where I think there's an overreaction to last week's lines. Like, listen, Leeds went to Old Trafford and got blown out by Man United 5-1. But this is one of those ones where United were clinical in their finishes. Their goal expectancy for that game was only 1.60, but the shots they got were such they just found the net. And even in one of the goals, the old VAR of last season would have reviewed the goal from Bruno Fernandes and overturned it. This year's VAR, they've made some changes, and when the little lines overlap and a guy's toe is offside, it's still a goal. They allow it. So that's one change they've done, which is a good one, because I don't see how that advantages thing. But with that said, listen, Leeds are such a good, they're a good team. They played extremely well last year. They play well at home. And you're just going to see a different game from this team. Everton isn't Man United. And, Everton in their final preseason game went to Old Trafford and got blown out 4-0 by a watered-down Manchester United team. So take that for what it's worth. Everton, last week, 2.39 were their expected goals. That's above their arc for last season. Only 2 games last season that they played better than they played this past weekend as far as expected goals. And they played a Southampton team that just didn't show up in the second half. They went in with a 1-0 lead, left Everton with a 3-1 loss. They didn't show up in the last 45 minutes. That's where most of that expected goals came from in the second half, where they got blitzed. It's a different story here. Leeds is going to run at you all game long. They're going to press you, and you're just getting plus money here for a team that I think should be minus 110 or even money at best. So give me the plus 140 here. I'll take Leeds to win this one, and I'm going to throw out an exact score. While it doesn't sound like a big one, 2-1, which is a result we see a lot of times. Leeds 2-1 plus 900 for some pizza money.
Carmine Bianco, dude, thanks for joining us. Carmine's promo code, he's got a 5% play up for tomorrow in soccer. You guys can have it for half price. CL50. Carm, awesome stuff, man. Thanks for joining us. Get the hell out of here. We got Art DiCesare joining us in 30 seconds. Teddy, Karen, one of our most awesomest listeners, and a woman who regrets that her parents named her Karen, given the last 5 years of what's happened to that name. She types, future prop bets and soccer. Show disappointing for me today. I get it, Karen, but here's the thing. Andy Lang came on and gave out 3 incredible prop bets, really well thought out stuff. Carmine last week hands you a plus 650 bet that wins. We at WagerTalk are a whole family of shows. Teddy does the NFL opening line report every Monday. It's there all week. Presidential address in NFL is up all week. We've got a baseball show, college football show. We got preview shows. There's so much going on at WagerTalk. It's there for everybody. This show is a daily show about making money. We are not a sports show. We are about making money, and we bring on guests who make money. Yeah, Teddy, you and your facial expressions. Go ahead.
We're
Teddy.
a sports show. Whatever Prez is doing, we're not a sport.
What sport do we play? What sport do we play as the sports show? I talk into a microphone. What do you do? What's your sport?
We talk about sports. Art DiCesare can talk about sports.
Yeah. Art.
Let's bring him in and see if he thinks it's a sports show or not.
Art, is this a show about sports or a show about making money?
I think it's a combination of all of 3 things.
Yeah.
No, and entertainment. I think there's entertainment value too. So I think you have all 3 aspects working. I think that's why this is the best show.
Oh, we love you, Art. We love you, man. You're looking good, dude. Clean shaven. You got a little lift in the hair going.
Yeah, man.
How are you, brother? What's been going on the last week?
Just really ramping up here. It's T-minus 2 weeks, 10 days to college football. We got week 2 of the NFL preseason. So we're there, man. I mean, over the next couple of shows, basically next week, we'll be talking about college football. It's great. This is this is the best time of the year. So this is awesome.
Yeah, and Art,
So-
I'll tell you flat out. Sorry, Teddy. I'll tell you flat out. When I read Karen's statement, Teddy was like, "Yeah, Prez, I've been telling you this, man. Stop with the soccer. Nobody wants to hear Korean baseball, Prez. Why are you talking Formula One at the top of the show, Prez? They want football." Okay, I'm done, Teddy.
Give the people what they want. There's the soccer's great to talk in the summer. Formula One, sure. When football season starts, audiences tend to want to talk about football. Football is king. It has been king, and it continues to be king. And I want to ask you, Art DiCesare from the LINQ Race and Sportsbook on the Las Vegas Strip, when you talk about you're feeling it, like what's different in the book in mid to late August compared to July or June? You still don't have the full slate of games. It still hasn't started yet, but you say the energy is different. Explain.
Yeah, Teddy, the best way to explain it is, at this point, we basically, every property, including ours, is going to have all their prop sheets out, all their future sheets out. So you see a lot of people, they'll come up to your window, on a Tuesday, or Wednesday, or Thursday, and they have their own MLB sheet to make their MLB plays a day. But then they also have a stack of NFL sheets, a stack of college football sheets that they're taking away from them. Oh, great, you have win totals out. Oh, you got player props out. So, they really the blood starts to flow with everyone that this stuff is available. We can talk about it, but when you actually get the concrete numbers in front of you, people have sheets they can take away, and week one's on the board already. People really start to feel this is here. So, I think when you get that, people really start to go, oh, okay, this is coming, so I can actually bet stuff. So that's what I'm talking about. People have their daily stuff, but then they walk away with a stack of NFL or college football sheets.
We'll talk about the daily card in just a minute, but I want to ask you, if you're going to take us to NFL futures and prop bets and that sort of thing, this has been a little bit of a prop-heavy show. Tell us, what kind of props are getting attention? What bets have stood out to you in, here in August over at the LINQ when it comes to NFL futures and NFL props?
Yeah, Teddy, obviously the big props that are always the ones that move the needle or win the Super Bowl. I've been shocked. Not shocked, I guess, but people are not, they're not worried about Tampa being the favorite, plus 450, having such a short number. People are betting them. I have so many people come in and say, Tampa returning 22 starters. Brady is the greatest who ever did it. We're not scared. We're laying money. I understand the Chiefs are still there 5-1. I've seen a lot less people feel confident about the Chiefs. Maybe, I've heard even people come up and think the Chiefs maybe got exposed in the Super Bowl a little bit. So, I know a lot of times people don't want to take favorites. They want to either take their team or take, some sort of shot, 10-1, 12-1. But so many people have just been riding the Tampa train, and that's why Tampa moved to be the favorite. So I've been surprised by that.
Art DiCesare joining us. The LINQ Race and Sports Supervisor, and a great follow on Twitter at ArtDice21. Art, let's talk some baseball real quick, and then I'll hand the mic back over to Teddy. There's a full slate going on today. Any bets that you can give out to our audience?
Yeah, Press. So when I look at the baseball slate, the two that jumped out right away, one that's going to go off about noon time, I think 12:10 Vegas time. Padres at Rockies. Padres are sputtering a little bit here. We opened Padres minus 118. It's now Padres minus 145. So you've seen Padre money come in, despite the Rockies being great at home, 40-21 at home. Padres are only a game and a half up in the wild card, so they really need these games. I mean, they've been energized by Tatis coming back, but man, I think people are feeling the Padres won't get swept. Yeah, even if it is playing the Rockies at home. So people have bet the Rockies, and then Ohtani. People are betting against Ohtani a little bit. Open minus 145, now minus 126. Tigers have been better, obviously, in the second half. So despite Ohtani pitching, you've seen some Tiger money come in.
So we've seen Tiger money and we've seen Powder Man. What about that 14 at Coors Field today? What's the highest total you can think of? I can't think of a whole lot higher than 14.
I was going to say, I think that's the highest I've ever seen. I think 14 is right there. 2 touchdowns, baby. That's crazy.
So are you seeing any action on that total?
No, I mean, I think people, either people are going to stay away from it, or the sharper bettors who might find some value in the under probably will take the under because the total's so high. But no, I mean, and as far as that game goes, the action has been so far the Padres. You know, like I said, basically a 20+ cent move. But yeah, 14 is unbelievable. It really is.
Yeah, for getaway day, you know, so much for getaway day unders at Coors
Hey, that
Field.
game's going
Let's
over.
shift our focus to the NFL now. Prez, like you said, I'll handle the segment. Let's shift our focus to the NFL. What we were just talking about, before you somehow shifted us to baseball to get us back to football. But let's talk about this week's NFL slate. You talked about 2 games in MLB. They're taking some wise guy money today. What about NFL preseason action for week 2? First, how's the handle? And what are we seeing in terms of early to midweek action for NFL week 2 preseason?
Sure, absolutely, Teddy. You know, I think the handle is always there. I think people are surprised. You know, people like us who are in this industry, we understand people bet preseason. People find value in preseason. You know, the casual person, even in my life that is a sports fan, but I talk to, they're like, wow, people bet preseason. I'm like, yeah, people do bet preseason. The thirst for the NFL is there. So the preseason handle is always pretty good. I would say the one game that's jumped out, I know there's a game tomorrow, but there are 2 on Friday. One game on Friday is Bengals versus Washington. It was 3.5. Now it's 5. So we have Washington -5. So we moved that total 1.5. So you've seen some movement there. So that's been early movement so far in the preseason this week.
And when we saw that run of unders in week 1, has that had any effect? And now we're 14-3 to the under so far this preseason. Has that had any significant effect on the week 2 betting marketplace? Were the totals posted a little bit lower? Are bettors looking to play unders this week? Or last week was last week with the unders, and this week bettors are looking at it as a whole, a legitimately clean slate with no bias regarding the totals?
You know, I think when it is preseason, you kind of have to almost look at it week to week. You know, it is a 3-week slate. You know, kind of wipe what you did week 1, look at week 2. I think people now, though, maybe the novice or the casual bettor who sees all this information out there, wow, 14-3, maybe they're on Twitter all weekend. They're saying, oh, under. They're going to now jump in and want to take unders. So it'd be interesting to see what happens there because, you know, once again, the people who are in this, the guys like you guys who are in this and know this, you're on top of this. You've been on top of this for 10, 15, 20 years. It's going to be the casual bettor now who sees 14-3 to the under and wants to now jump on some unders. So be interesting to see what happens this week with that. You know, but I've seen some totals in the 40s. I've seen a 41 out there. I want to say that's in the Chief game. So, you know, you have to do it week by week.
So we are officially, what is it? College football doesn't start till the Saturday. I was going to say we're 8 days out. We're 10 days out from college football. There's 4 games on that opening Saturday and then a full slate the following week. Are we seeing anything in terms of significant early line moves, significant early action for these week 0 and week 1 college football?
Yeah, Teddy, when you talk about the quote-unquote week 0, you know, I still call it week 1, you know, week 0. It just sounds weird. But, you know, it's still week 1 to me. It's the first week. But, you know, the one game and probably, you know, the best game that has the best matchup, which, you know, 2 Power 5 teams, you know, teams that have names. Nebraska at Illinois. You know, Nebraska was opened early in a lot of markets, -8, -9. We're sitting at Nebraska -6.5 now. It was 7 for a while. I think people took the key number of 7. Illinois at home, a home team getting 7. So it's just dipped under 7. So you've seen some Illinois money come in, but Illinois money had been coming in anyway over the last month.
And last but not least, before we let you go, Art, and thank you again so much for taking time out of your busy day. This is Art's day off, and he wakes up early and come in to hang out with us. We appreciate that a lot. Follow him on Twitter at ArtDice21. He's an excellent follow. But tell us what's going on at the LINQ when it comes to August betting in sports. Talk about the app. Talk about what bettors can do to get involved at your sportsbook in your casino.
Yeah, absolutely, Teddy. You know, with football season ramping up, you know, I'm glad you brought up the app. We got kiosks. We just have a lot of ways to bet, you know, in the sports book. You know, we're going to have 4 windows open. We're going to have 3 kiosks. We're going to have the app, which is always accessible to everyone, even if you live out of state. Obviously, when you go out of state, you can't bet. But when you're in town, the convenience of betting on the app is always there. You know, I have a lot of people who want information and want to help set up the app or, you know, hey, how do I bet on the app? So listen, always come talk to me about that. I'm always willing to help people with the app. The app can be a little confusing, but once you get going on it, it's awesome. And just the traditional way of coming to the sports book and betting at the window or betting at a kiosk is always there as well. And, this is our time of year, guys. So there's nothing better, and I really can't wait for it. It's going to be awesome.
Art DiCesare. Art, we're so happy to have you on with us, and we'll be continuing the segment throughout football season. Thanks, man. And guys, head over to the link. Say hi to Art. If you have your top button done up, you will get a free drink ticket from Art. Two free drink tickets if you do your button. You will not get laid. You will not get laid, but you will get 2 free drink tickets. Art DiCesare, thanks for joining us, guys. Everybody, do us all a favor. Please hit that like button. Greatly appreciated. And other than that, it's time for the daily presidential address. Let's go. Having slight issues with the daily NFL presidential. Shoot me in the head. I cannot get the name of the segment right, but just want to let you guys know, a great show today. Teddy slacked me. All you the rest of the way, my love. Thank you, Teddy. Right back at you, sweetie pie. Great show. Carmine Bianco, Andy Lang, Art DiCesare. If you guys missed it, check it out. Wager Talk Today, every day, 12 to 1 p.m. Eastern on WagerTalk TV, our YouTube channel. A bunch of people in the chat room were asking, where is Kelly? Kelly is with us. She is at Barstool Sports and will be involved in some of the Wager Talk shows, especially Bet On It. As for your free picks tonight, I only have 2 free picks for you guys. We're going right back to the Jays, -1.5. Yesterday was a nightmare game for them. Got down really, really early, 7-1, and really couldn't climb their way back. Boreas on the mound tonight. Jays, I think, are playing for their lives right now. Jays -1.5, and I like the San Francisco Giants as well on the money line. That's really it for me. That's it for the show. Teddy, I'm taking my awesome daughter Ty to the mechanic. So get us out of here.
Well, a good time. Worth noting that Jays Nationals game is in afternoon action day. If you're trying to bet it tonight, it'll be too late. That's going to wrap it for the Wednesday edition of Wager Talk Today. We'll do it again tomorrow. Same time, same channel, 9 a.m. here on the left coast, noon for you back east. Between now and then, enjoy the games. Good luck.
The NFL 2021 season kicks off on Thursday, August 5th. And while some say I won't bet the preseason, but many NFL handicapping experts say there's more value betting the preseason than any other sport. This is one of the only times in sports betting that you can have a team and a coach trying to win versus a team and a coach that doesn't care. The NFL preseason is $249. You can save $70 by purchasing this package by kickoff of the Hall of Fame game August 5th. The entire NFL preseason for just $179. Yes, football is back.